What's going on, everybody? With Fifth Down Territory, presented by Stadium Rant. It's Tyler, Bahookie, and Louie. We're here. No Shane today. He got called into work, so we're gonna have a little bit of Louie impersonations for Shane later on in the show. But we're gonna start out with what we're talking about here, and the NFL trade deadline's coming up next week, and we got some trade target talk to go on tonight. So find it funny how I'll keep the alliteration going too. We're all talking about the Tennessee Titans players here. They just traded Kevin Byard to the Eagles for a couple of late round picks and another safety. The rich get richer. I'm sure JC is probably watching this, laughing at us, but it's okay, man.
Yeah, you get for those guys.
Yeah, that was a solid deal for them. But Louis, why don't you start us off with your Titan that you think's going to be traded?
Yeah, so mine kind of trails on some news from today, plus the absolute butt whooping of the century from this Sunday. Mine is the Lions make a move to acquire DeAndre Hopkins as their wide receiver 2 before the deadline. That's kind of what I have. Marvin Jones Jr. is going to be taking a personal break to deal with some matters undisclosed, right? And so we wish him the best with that. But this is for an already thinning Lions wide receiver core that features a Jameson Williams that just never really truly seems to break out. So I'm going to say instead of spamming Jahmyr Gibbs on the screenplay, they make a move to trade a late round pick, like maybe a 4th or a package deal, like a 5th and a 6th for Hopkins. I don't think it'll cost much more than that. I think this Titans team is looking to blow it all up. And I think Hop just makes sense. He's on a low-year deal. They can afford to eat some of that money and send him to a team that's in competition. He gets to go play with everything he wanted: a good defense, an okay quarterback, stable management. So I think the deal works out for both sides, and he takes a lot of pressure off of Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I don't like that for my fantasy teams, but for the Lions, it makes quite a lot of sense. And he's kind of something that they don't like. I mean, Amon-Ra is a good possession receiver, but like he's not that big body outside target, and they're kind of looking for that to replace Marvin Jones Jr. too, who took he took a personal leave this week for a family matter. I hope everything's okay there for him. Bahookie, why don't you kind of go into your next Titan there?
Yeah, we all went the Titans route here because it's pretty clear that they're sellers right now, and wouldn't mind if D-Hop made his way over to the Bills. There's the 3 receivers that could potentially be traded that we wouldn't have to make cap room for with our recent restructuring of Deion Dawkins, are Jerry Jeudy, D-Hop, and Darnell Mooney. And then are the 3 guys that we'd be able to bring in without having to go through cap hoops. There's Devontae Adams and a couple other people out there we would need the team to eat the cap for. But with all that being said, as much as I would like for us to add another wide receiver, it seems that the real problem with the Bills right now is not actually their offense. It's really the middle of their defense. Losing Daquan Jones, that one technique is really, and then having Ed Oliver out too, was just really, we got eaten in the middle, and then we're missing a will linebacker too. So Danico Autry was the guy from the Titans at defensive tackle that I think would be the most beneficial to the Bills at this point. To try and shore up the middle of that defense a little bit. It's kind of slim pickings out there. He's not really a natural 1 technique. He's more of a 3 technique, but it would probably still be the best move that they can make. I know that the Steelers are still waiting for Cam Hayward to come back. They were like the second potential team I looked at. I'd say they're probably less likely. I think he's expected back around week 10. But I'm really hoping that he'd be like my number one wish for the Bills at this point.
Word. And then rounding up our Titans talk and our kind of trade deadline segment here, unless we want to do a surprise one to kind of fill Shane's spot after this. But I think that the Ravens make a move for Derrick Henry. They're 5-2. They're a potential Super Bowl caliber team. And Derrick Henry on that offense with Lamar Jackson just adds. What are you gonna do to stop that run game? Like you're getting hit with read options, and like Lamar either runs by you or Derrick Henry runs through you, and forget about if they do play action after that.
Or Derrick Henry throws a touchdown to a speeding Lamar Jackson on the field.
Yeah,
I need that in my life. I need that clip to exist.
Scary hours. That's scary hours right there. It just really makes a lot of sense because Derrick Henry isn't going to mess with the J.K. Dobbins of it all if he does come back healthy next year. Like, this is probably a 1 to 2 year type of move. I say they could probably get him for maybe not as much as the 49ers paid for CMC, but like a third, a fifth, a sixth, and maybe like a Gus Edwards type of player. Like, maybe that's a lot, but I don't personally think so. When you're acquiring a talent like that, who could really just that makes that offense quite dangerous. And like Derrick Henry almost beat the Chiefs by himself back in the heyday on the Titans. You add Derrick Henry to a Lamar Jackson type, that just keeps defensive coordinators wide awake at night.
Yeah. And just for reference, Gus Edwards is averaging 4 yards per carry right now. So imagine Derrick Henry averaging 6.5. Like, that's the kind of difference we're talking about.
He also would make up for their red zone deficiencies as well. Like, you get inside the 20 there. Like, they have a really good offensive line as well. It just you can't stuff the box against the Ravens. Like, they have weapons now, like with Rashard Bateman getting healthy. Zay Flowers is a human joystick, and OBJ is a really solid piece there as well.
Yeah.
Even Nelson Aguilar has kind of showed up for them as well. And then you have Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. That's Patrick Ricard as well at fullback. If they run out with a heavy set, that's not fun.
Good luck.
I don't want to tackle any of those guys.
They're a real threat.
Yeah, they stomped on the Lions. That was bad. It was bad.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
None of us had that one.
I mean, if anything, I thought it was going to be a game.
Shane picked that one.
Yeah, of course Shane had that one. I mean, you were the only one to go over 500 this week. It's 7-6. So the fifth down territory boys had a real rough week picking these games.
Fade them.
Yeah. Maybe a surprise type of target would be Christian Watson. I mean, he kind of got injured at the end of that last game. So if his medical is clear, the Packers do not look like they did in the first 2 weeks. They just lost to the Broncos of all teams. It's kind of depressing if you're a Packers fan at that moment. So maybe they try and get like a 2 for him. So like he's still on his rookie deal. He doesn't have a big time payday yet. I don't think he's done enough to warrant a massive extension either. So I think like a second round pick for Christian Watson, because he is young, explosive, and a very good player when he's on the field. I think that's something that could surprise people if the Packers are talking to teams about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think my surprise trade would be something like I don't know. I want something crazy like Pat Surtain to I don't even know.
The 49ers?
To the Chiefs or something. I wouldn't trade him in division, so that's a complete pipe dream. But like, imagine some Super Bowl contender adding freaking PS2 to their lineup.
Yeah, like I said, the 49ers
trade, for PS2 after they lose 2 games in a row. They're like,
after Jordan Addison absolutely tanks their life.
We're done playing around.
Free. Yeah, they're like, we're gonna go ahead and get PS2. Everybody would start crying. But yeah, Bahookie, you have a surprise trade candidate possibly?
Surprise
And
trade.
don't say the Bills trade for somebody. Just pick a different team.
Yeah.
That just cut his targets in half.
Pretty much. Those are the ones I know about. Well, I'm gonna say Devontae Adams would be a good surprise one. As much as I wanted it to be Aaron Donald, I think that the Rams are like still a team who's like in contention, and they're not gonna trade Aaron Donald the way they're playing right now. I think the Raiders are pretty much cooked. Devontae Adams wants out of there. Who's got the cap space to eat? Devontae Adams to the Chiefs. How about that?
Cooper Kupp to the Chiefs.
That would just ruin everyone.
Yeah, I don't like any of that. I was gonna say Hollywood Brown, but they gave up a first to get him. I don't think anybody is giving up a first to trade for him now. So I don't think that the Cardinals are gonna move on him just because of pure value standpoint for them. But I have heard his name as well. I mean, the most likely candidate to get moved right now is freaking Jerry Jeudy. Every 5 minutes, I see a Jerry Jeudy news drop of trade rumors, and the Colts have been interested. Which I mean, I think I would just roll with Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. Like, I was a big Jeudy guy as well, and I don't know, he's kind of soured on me. He hasn't really showed it yet. I mean, he had a couple of games late last year, but this year he has not been very impressive. But so
All
yeah,
right.
that is our trade target talk.
Trade talk.
So oh, you cut it in half. You took out the word that you made that up earlier.
Trade targets.
Okay, there we go. Target these type
target talk.
How about target these Titans?
Target trade talk. Whatever. And if anybody cares, out of sight, out of mind. But Shane's surprise trade was Bears corner Jalen Johnson on an expiring rookie deal gets sent to a contender for a 4th-round pick. Nameless contender, but I like that move. If the Bears really are just kind of like pulling the trigger on another bad year, he's a piece that you could probably
don't blink now, but the Bears could have a better record than the Chargers by the end of next week.
Don't blink now, but Tyler Badgett is him. Also, I want you guys to know, after the broadcast last night, I found out I'm statistically identical to Brock Purdy. So I could have been an NFL quarterback if I had an ounce of talent or upper body strength. So
yeah. Well, enough with the pipe dreams, and let's move on to some game picks here. Louie, what's the first game that we got?
So for your Thursday night viewing pleasure, we have the Buccaneers against the struggling Bills. The primetime game that'll probably be okay, but nobody actually wanted. I'm taking the Bills here, but not confidently because they haven't shown me anything really lately to be confident about. And when they finally start scoring points in the second half of this game, hopefully it's enough to drive them past whatever Baker puts on display for the entire 60 minutes. So,
I mean, I'm going to take the Bills as well, but I don't really want to because if the Bucks can kind of attack Josh Allen and get him off his spot, I don't like Ken Dorsey. I don't think he's a fit for you guys. I don't think he's calling the right offense. I don't think he has a finger on the pulse of what's going on in his matchups. Everything right now seems forced or like it's too different. It's like nothing's easy right now for your offense. So I would take the under in this game and a comeback Bills win by 3 points, to be completely honest. I think the Bucks just kind of have one of those teams that pretty much hangs in there until the end, and then Baker just isn't going to be able to beat Josh Allen in a 1v1. But Bahookie, what do you think?
Bills 24, Bucks 13. Wow, thanks, JC. JC with the confidence in the Bills. I'm pretty much right there. I wish I was right there with JC, but I'm pretty much right there with you guys right now. I think the Bills win this. They're 7.5 point favorites. I do not think they covered that spread. I think that this is like a 3 or 4 point win, like a 24-21 kind of deal, or something weird, or like 22-17, 22-19, like a weird score. But yeah, maybe the Bills come out here. They're at home and they play Buffalo Bills football for 60 minutes and they just hang 48 points on the Bucks. Like, I know they're capable of it. I just haven't seen them, specifically in the first half, really look like it. And Lamb, you really hit the nail on the head with the way Ken Dorsey's been calling it. It's just, I don't know. They don't really have like an identity. Since they had that big win against the Dolphins, they've just been sputtering. And hopefully that changes this week, but until I see it happen, I have a hard time picking them to blow anyone out right now. And they really need this win, and I think that they will get it done in less than convincing fashion, and we'll be having a similar conversation next week about them.
Yeah, AFC East is underwhelming this year compared to what we were talking about before the season. Rodgers is out. The Bills don't look as crazy. Dolphins.
Your prediction for 9-8 for the Bills, as much as it pains me to say it, actually does not look terrible right now. Because the Bills and the Seahawks have like the two toughest remaining schedules in the NFL. And I picked the Bills to win 13 games. That means them going 9-1 the rest of the year from this point. And
I referenced how hard their schedule was. I didn't say they were going to be bad. And admittedly, I said that Josh Allen was going to be their leading rusher, which doesn't look to be the case because James Cook looks serviceable.
He's like a 10 or 11 type running back in the NFL right now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a hard schedule. Definitely a slog. So moving into our noon Sunday slate, we start off with another AFC East team. The Jets and the Giants face off, the Battle of New Jersey. Who wants to go first on this one? Blake?
Yeah, home game / neutral site game here. I think I'm going with the Jets here. I think they're the team I trust a little bit more right now. I think I like the Giants' chances better with Tyrod Taylor than I did than with Daniel Jones. I was having this conversation with my roommate who's a Giants fan. Tyrod just looks like less tentative. Because Daniel Jones has been beat up so much, like I can't blame him for kind of the way he's playing, but he's been playing scared. He's dealing with that neck thing, and Daniel Jones can run and pick up first downs, but so can Tyrod. And Tyrod, he's had like 4 like really low scoring games last 2 weeks. When he went to the playoffs with the Bills, that was how he won like every single week. They had like the worst point differential ever. Like they won like ugly games and then got blown out, but somehow made it in. But all that being said, I think this Jets defense is legit, and the Jets team has way more of an identity right now than the Giants do.
Yeah, give me the Jets in the Battle of the Meadowlands here. It's a mismatch of defensive line versus offensive line. I said the same thing about the Commanders game last week, and they almost proved it to me, but their offensive line is also just piss poor. So it was just a matter who could get more sacks and cause more destruction. And I kind of think that the Jets have better offensive line pieces currently. I know Elijah Vera Tucker's out, but Mekhi Becton's kind of playing like he was a first round draft pick. I think that score is pretty appropriate. I would honestly even say like a 14-9 type of game. Like Zach Wilson just kind of just pulls it out. Like,
if you're a defensive head, you're gonna love this.
Big Breece Hall game, honestly. A big Breece Hall game. I could see that going down. So yeah, give me the Jets on this one.
So Shane actually sent me his picks and his reasons. So real quick, I'm going to go back to Thursday for him. He's picking the Bills over the Bucks, and he said he won't bet against Josh Allen at home following a loss. Since 21, he's 5-3 in home games following a loss, And while he still loves a comeback season from Baker, the Bills at home are too good for them in the moment. And then for Jets-Giants, he has the Jets over the Giants because of the Zach Wilson playing good enough. He thinks the Jets are sneaky good. I'm also taking the Jets here, so clean sweep from fifth down territory, so please put your money on the Giants. I just think that Tyrod Taylor, I watched him play quite a bit because of the Texans. He was on our team last season or the season before. He doesn't really take care of himself. He doesn't know how to slide. And this is a very, very physical defense under Robert Saleh. So expect, them to come hard and fast against a patchwork offensive line. But I agree. I have like a 17 to 10, 11, something in there. Like maybe the Giants luck a defensive touchdown off of Zach Wilson, and that's about all they do with a field goal. And then Breece Hall scores 2 touchdowns is kind of how I have this game going. So next up, we're going to do Jags-Steelers.
Ooh, that's a good game.
I am going to take the Jaguars in this one against my better judgment. They look competent. Christian Kirk looks like the wide receiver one on this team. So rip to all of you Calvin Ridley believers. You can send me your apology notes.
I'll do nothing of the sort.
Told you.
Nothing. No, I won't do it.
I hope your third round draft capital in your paid fantasy league is just set your money on fire next year.
If Calvin Ridley was playing in the slot, he'd be just as productive, if not more, even though he's not. I don't think it's a talent issue. I think it's a scheme issue. So
anyway, I have the Jaguars barely eking out a win over the Steelers, but I expect Trevor Lawrence to be running for his life against TJ Watt because I think TJ Watt is miles better than anybody on this Jaguars line, but expect Kirk to get expect Ridley to get Joey Porter Jr., which leaves Christian Kirk on old man Pat Pete. And so Kirk's going to have one heck of a game along with ETN in the short pass situation.
Luke, you want to go?
Yeah, I got the Jags as well here. I feel like they're the more consistent team. I think they have the second longest active win streak behind the Chiefs right now in the NFL. So like they're actually one of like the hotter teams in the NFL right now, and Steelers they're another sneaky good team, kind of like what Shane said about the Jets. I just don't feel like they're quite as consistent right now, and I'm liking the Jaguars in this spot. I think it's like a close game, like a 28-24, I'll say.
Wow,
JC just said 27-24. Pretty damn close. I'm going to say 28-24.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jags here. Travis Etienne's kind of looking like one of the top 5 running backs in the league right now.
Good.
He ran. He didn't get a lot of yardage, but he was pretty impactful against a really, really good front seven in New Orleans. I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to have issues last week, kind of coming off that injury, but he was running around the field, making plays with his legs, which I think that he hasn't really unlocked that fully yet. And when that's a big part of his game, and that can make defenses stay honest on him, giving his wide receivers one less person to stay out in coverage. But dude, I can't deny that TJ Watt is a certified game wrecker. They dropped him into coverage last week, and he just got a pick and almost got a pick 6. I don't know many defensive ends that they're dropping back in coverage, getting near pick 6s, other than like TJ Watt and Micah Parsons, but he's more of an Neba type of player rather than a one position type of player. And TJ is just like his older brother, but probably a little bit more athletic. So that's just scary. But I think the Jags defense also has been playing better than people give them credit for. So yeah, I kind of like the matchup against the Steelers offense there. So yeah, give me the Jags. What's Shane's pick?
Shane's taking the Steelers. There's a lot of words on here, but the truth of the matter is he just thinks that Mike Tomlin is a hell of a coach. Can't bet against Mike Tomlin. That's my shade of version. No, he says he wasn't impressed with the win over Nola on Thursday from the Jags. Steelers quietly have one of the league's best defenses, and Kenny Pickett has played well the last 2 games. He's taken the home team in this matchup. So, right? So there's one difference between us.
That's our first non-sweep there.
Huh? Yeah, that's the first one we're going to disagree on. Next one, we have Eagles Commanders. I don't really think any of us are going to vary a whole lot. I think Philly finally looked like they were kind of playing up to their potential, and A.J. Brown is on certified menace time. So,
certified sicko.
Yeah,
certified sicko.
Certified sicko. So, Emmanuel Forbes, I'm sorry. This is going to be a really bad night for you. And to our stadium rant writer, Manny, watch a different game, my brother. It ain't worth it. JC, I'm taking the Eagles this week. There it is. Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles this week. So, he doesn't have to come for me. We got you, dude.
Quick aside on the A.J. Brown. I'll go quickly. Quick aside on the A.J. Brown thing. When he got traded and re-signed to the Eagles, one of my buddies tried to tell me that Michael Gallup was a better wide receiver or just as good of a wide receiver than A.J. Brown. And I just wanted to say on air, that's certified cap and crap because Michael Gallup is not very good. He's a third wide receiver at best. And A.J. Brown is probably the third best receiver in the league.
Yeah, it's called don't know ball.
Dude, I don't know. Like, that dude's an absolute problem. He could go he's probably gonna go 11 for 160 and 2 in this game. But no, I'm still picking the Eagles. In an overtime, they go to overtime though. They're
Feels
gonna
like
go
it could be a trap
again.
game, but this has the Eagles to me written all over it. Like they're just gonna grab them, I think.
Last year, when the Eagles were undefeated, who beat them?
The
Commanders. In a primetime game. And then the Commanders went and brought them to overtime and probably could have won that game if Riverboat Ron actually held up to his freaking name and decided to rock the Riverboat. But nah, he played it safe and they lost in overtime. So, yeah, give me the Eagles still. But it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah, one of my hot takes this year was that the Eagles were going to lose this game to the Commanders, and it was going to be like what opened the door for the Cowboys to win the division. But I just feel like that's like really, really reaching to stick with that pick at this moment and seeing who these teams are. I'm taking the Eagles. The Eagles look like they're really starting to find their groove. And this is going to be a tough game because they just had their biggest win of the season against the Dolphins. They decisively beat a good team. And then I feel like it's been really hard for teams in general in the NFL to follow up big wins, especially against a divisional opponent that you should be beating. So I feel like the Commanders will make this into it'll be a game, but the Eagles win by I'm going to say Eagles 27, Commanders 20.
Okay. All right. What was Shane's pick on this game?
Shane picked the Eagles.
Cool. All right. Next game.
Yeah, he didn't have a whole lot to say. He just said Philly entering a gauntlet of their schedule, and Washington traditionally gives them fits. They'll do plenty to win. Next game we have is the Cowboys-Rams. I am taking the upset here, and I'm going with the Rams. I think Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both eclipse 120 yards in this game as they just air raid the absolute mess out of this middling Cowboys secondary. So I think they're going to kind of try and play like a weird like zone man mix coverage on this offense, and I think that's going to go really poorly for two guys who always seem to find the soft spots in that. So, yeah, give me Matt Stafford masterclass as the Rams thrilling 2-minute drive to win the game by like 3.
I like that a lot as an alternate line. So if you go and take a parlay of just both of them getting over 120 yards, you're probably gonna get some pretty decent plus money on that. That's a really solid play, to be completely honest. I am also going to take the Rams. I just believe in the Rams. I've been a believer in the Rams, and I hate Mike McCarthy. I think he's going to get outcoached, just plain and simple. So, sorry, Shane. Go for it, Bahookie.
This is a funny spot, and you make the argument for both teams. And I want to pick against the Cowboys, and so I'm gonna go against my gut, and I'm gonna pick the Cowboys to win this game because it makes sense that the Rams would win this game. So I feel like the Cowboys are going to do the opposite of what we expect and actually show up.
Dude, are you when you're looking up like that? Are you reading the script for the season? Because your 68-38 record is really it's really showing me
right behind the camera, and he's like,
"Dude, stop
Blake's
stop
uncle.
it.
Don't you
Give away
know?
my secrets." No, I would know that.
See, I don't know. I've been wrong about plenty of things so far.
He just showed us a sneak peek of the script when his phone fell, so it's okay. We got it.
He's got the
I got
Texans
my
winning
eyes
the
on
Super Bowl. Cash it in.
Yeah.
Shane's taking the Cowboys over the Rams, of course. Got to ride with your boys. He makes a point that Dallas is coming off a bye and Stafford's dealing with a minor shoulder injury, and the Rams are allowing the fourth most yards and completions, or per completion, maybe is what that's supposed to be. So, yeah, expect this to be a real shootout, I think. Plus some every now and then Micah Parsons masterclass. So, but I still have the Rams, but Shane is taking. Dad, which one should I pick? Shane's
JC's
taking
all over the place on these comments.
All right. Next game is Vikings-Packers. To be honest, I hate this so much.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
We could delete this game from the schedule. I'm going to go with the Vikings because Jordan Addison. Okay, here's where I'm torn. Right, I'm just going to talk this out. Jordan Addison, certified baller, and made Charvarius Ward look like a little boy. But Jair Alexander is incredibly good at playing corner. And if he locks up Addison, then they're going to be able to do whatever they want against Hawkinson. So I genuinely don't know what to do here, but I'm going to take the Vikings for some reason. Undisclosed gut feeling. I think Kirk Cousins is on demon time again. I had him as an MVP candidate before the season, and I think if this team had a winning record right now, he would be in that conversation.
I want to pick the Vikings. Everything in my soul tells me that I should pick the Vikings after watching that Broncos-Packers game, but that's why I'm going to pick the Packers, just because I don't know. I don't think Matt LaFleur is a bad head coach. I think he's a pretty solid head coach. I think he typically has his guys ready to go. I like Romeo Doubs. I like Aaron Jones getting the second week back off of his injury and kind of getting more into the game. I don't know. I should pick the Vikings here, but I'm gonna pick the Packers. I hope it's one of those games like that I have like that, opposite intuition on. That's kind of where I am on that game. So yeah, give me the Packers here, but like with my eyes closed and my breath held.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with Lamb here. I think the Vikings are like the hotter team right now, and I don't think and they just had such a great performance, and I don't think they're going to follow it up very well. That's like really how I feel is like it's going to be really hard to follow up that performance against the Niners, and the Packers are at home here, and like the Packers are kind of in like desperation mode, and JC Packers 20, Vikings 17. I'm at a loss. Yeah, I'm pretty much right there. I'd say even like a 19 16 or 19-17, like some sort of weird funny score here.
Yeah, I like the under in this game too. What'd Shane say for this?
Shane, what's up, Big Cheese? He's in here. Look at the boys.
That's my boy. Thanks, buddy, for watching this.
Let's see. He's got the Vikings over the Packers, with the Vikings with the upset of the year going up against Jordan Love and a Packers offense that has looked less than mediocre. All 7 of his interceptions coming after week 2. Skull. So, nice shout out for the Vikings there. All right, up next, another unwatchable football game of 2 duplicate coaches literally staring at each other from across the field. The Falcons and the Titans. Literally 2 identical coaches, twins separated at birth.
Arthur Smith revenge game? Question mark.
Arthur, I think
who's leaning into their tank card right now?
Who has a better mustache? Vrabel shaved his mustache for his Hall of Fame or his Patriots Hall of Fame ceremony, so it's actually still Mike Vrabel without a mustache. So
Mike Vrabel's a handsome man. The real news everybody cares about. We're going to rank NFL coaches by hotness according to guys. So all 4 of us will cast our votes. We'll get that to you at the end of the season. I don't know.
I think I'm going on this, but okay.
I'm going Falcons here. Just because I don't think this whole Titans team will be intact come Sunday. I think they'll be missing more pieces than they are now. And I think Kevin Byard was a big piece in that secondary that's just getting worse. So Desmond Ridder might actually have a decent game here as long as the offensive line holds up on the interior. And maybe Bijan Robinson gets more than 2 touches. Who knows?
Yeah, he wasn't feeling it. Huh?
We've all been there, right, boys? You're promised a performance and then there's a headache afterwards.
Your game check is for like $375,000, and you're just like, nah, not feeling it this week, dude. The Falcons are actually getting what's it called? The NFL's looking into that and investigating why he wasn't on an injury report for the game or any sort of things were said for that. I totally agree. If somebody isn't feeling well on Saturday, you should probably put them on the injury report on Sunday in some sort of way, shape, or form. I think that this game is going to be a tie. Straight up.
Okay.
I think it's a tie.
I'm gonna go bold here, and Blake, you can weigh in on this. I say tie is worth 3 points. If you correctly predict a tie,
if you call a tie, there's got to be some bonus.
You get like 3 or 5. If it happens, we'll sort it out next week. But currently, these are the kind of risks Lamb has to take from the back of the pack.
Damn straight. So what happens if I get it wrong and one of the teams wins? Is it minus like 2?
It's a 0.
Just a 0. Okay.
I just think you're increasing your chances of that being a 0 by taking neither, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, I'm cool with it. I'm literally gonna take a tie.
I'm gonna go with the Falcons here. Probably another low scoring game. I don't know what the over is on this. Can't be too high, but they're going in with Malik Willis, and they're saying that Will Levis will likely play as well. Yeah, I don't like that plan at all.
Jesse Bates is going to come away with another 4 interceptions off this game.
Yeah, that just does not sound like a winning recipe to me at all. And the Falcons are not in the greatest spot right now, but I got to take the Falcons here.
Yeah, Shane's also taking the Falcons. Great defense against an aging Tennessee team ready for a fire sale is what he says. So couldn't be more true. Next, another NFC East matchup, Pats Dolphins. I would like to see if Tyler's stance has changed after he told me that they have the secret sauce to clamp up Tyreek. Do you have any? You want to go first on this one?
Absolutely not. I mean, Christian Gonzalez isn't out or isn't playing, so that definitely hurts. I mean, when they actually played, Tyreek Hill only had 60 some odd yards, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, he definitely cooked them on a touchdown route with a just insane amount of motion that just had him free on a little flat route. But yeah, I think this is a big letdown spot for the Pats. As much as I'd like to see them win this game and build off that upset in Buffalo, or at home against Buffalo, they're going to Miami. And even when Tom Brady was the quarterback, weird things happen in Hard Rock Stadium for the Patriots. The Miami Miracle happened. I mean, there are some other things that just sucked as well that have happened. I don't. Miami also just got punched in the mouth by Philly. I think they're going to be pissed off and kind of come out there and take their anger out on the Patriots. So yeah, give me Miami here and make me sad again.
Yeah, whatever Tyreek's over is, I'm taking it for this game. He comes off an 80-yard, 1-touchdown performance and says, "I'll be better." Smash the over on those receiving yards. That's free money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the
like 100.
Yeah, I'd love it if the
like
Patriots did us a favor here. We with our loss to the Pats last week, we really need to sweep the Dolphins when we play them again, and then we need to hope that they lose another game to the Jets or the Pats. And pretty much what you just said. They're coming off a loss here. They're at home against the Pats. I don't anticipate the Dolphins to do the Bills any sort of favors this week. I think the Fins win this by at least 2 possessions.
Yeah. What about Shane?
He said that the Dolphins are going to win, but that this loss is an actual long-term win for New England as it protects their draft position on a losing season.
I'm cool with that, man.
I think that logic's sound.
I pissed off Blake on a Sunday. I'm cool. Oh, that was fine for me. I'm good with it.
Yeah. Next we have Saints Colts. Tyler, why don't you go first on this one?
This is a yucky game. So Chris Olave actually just got arrested for
stealing my fantasy week.
No. I mean that too possibly, but he was 35 miles over the speed limit. I'm not totally sure if that's going to actually get a suspension, but he kind of looked uninterested in parts of that Jaguars game. So I don't really know if he's fully all committed, not committed, but like all there currently right now on the season. I think Derek Carr being his quarterback and Dennis Allen being his coordinator have kind of gotten into his head. And I like all the vibes in Indianapolis as well. They scored 38 points on a team that held the 49ers to 17? Like everybody said, like the Browns have a consensus top 3 defense, and Gardner Minshew was out there slinging that rock. I mean, he also fumbled the ball twice and got picked, but that's because Myles Garrett is just almost unguardable. So yeah, give me the Colts here. I think Jonathan Taylor being back, they use Taylor and Moss in interesting ways. Josh Downs looks explosive. Michael Pittman's a really good wide receiver. And I don't know. Minshew mania is kind of a thing. Like he is kind of playing really well this season. So yeah, give me the Colts.
Shane is taking the Saints in this one, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, he's taking the Saints. Some rest with offensive linemen returning. They're going to ground and pound the ball with Kamara and Jamal Williams. You want to go next, Blake?
Yeah, I'm also going with the Saints. I don't feel entirely great about it, but I think that this is a Kamara game as well, and I'm gonna say that like 27-23.
So last week was the Kamara game. Did they win?
I mean, you say Kamara game last week, like he had 14 receptions or something stupid for like 63 yards. I mean, that's a fantasy performance, but that's not a football performance.
He had 75 receiving yards and 65 rushing yards, I'm pretty sure.
How many catches last week?
Off 12 catches off 14 targets. I get you. But that's the Saints offense. That's what they're doing. Like, you know what I mean? It's Derek Carr, snap, Alvin Kamara, 3 yards, turn around, balls in his hands. Like, oh shit, that happened 15 times last week. You know? So, but you go. Sorry to interject there.
I'm gonna take the exaggerated swagger of a white redneck, and Gardner Minshew absolutely has a day. So the little shimmy shake into the end zone 2 times against the top 2 defense, bananas behavior. Certified sicko. He
Yeah.
has earned the badge for this week. Certified sicko for Gardner Minshew. Expect him to bring the boys a win up in Indianapolis for this week as they continually fight to stay in the mix for this division.
All right. Well, we're split on this one.
Next, we got Texans Panthers. And if you guys didn't see the news today, the Panthers placed like half of their team on IR. Give me the Texans by a good number of points here. I feel good about the boys. The Bulls are stomping. So CJ Stroud, I think he finally has like I don't want to call it like a certified performance, but I think this is like his Lamar game, like 350 yards and 3 touchdowns kind of day. Puts it all together.
CJ is going to throw it in Carolina's face that they didn't pick him over a 5'10" scrawny Bryce Young. I just got Houston coming off a bye as well. The Panthers, the literally only good thing about the Panthers are Adam Thielen and Brian Burns, and that's just not going to win you pretty much any football games. As they stand right now, they gave up their first-round draft pick, which is looking like it would be Caleb Williams currently. So you got to be feeling down bad about that as well. I didn't even know the news about the injured reserve players, but yeah. So give me the Texans, and I'm pretty sure the spread was 3. It's probably going to move to 5.5. I'm going to take them by a touchdown in this game. But Blake, what do you got?
They put Jeremy Chin.
Yeah, I got the Texans here as well, and Panthers could be selling more and more here as well. I heard DJ Chark being floated around as a potential trade option. Yeah, I don't know. The CJ Stroud's looked like pretty much consensus rookie of the year so far. Coming off a bye week, the Texans look like a semi-competent team. I don't think that we're at the point where we're going to be picking them against like the Eagles or the Niners yet, but you put them out there against like a Panthers Cardinals type team, they're going to be favored.
Yeah, I like that. What Shane have here?
Shane said, and this is true, I'm reading this, I'm not making this up, I can't believe it. He said, Carolina injuries are going to set up the Bears nicely for the first and second pick in 2024, while Houston is a threat to win the South and frontrunner at Offensive Rookie of the Year at QB. He takes Texans over Panthers. So there's your full sweep again.
JC is just an honorary guest.
JC.
JC, we appreciate all the love and participation.
Yeah, all these
end of the
are really
year
boosting our YouTube numbers here. So thank you.
Right. Next game, we're going to pace through these last 6. Browns Seahawks. I want to take the Seahawks here. I really do, but I am going to take the Browns. I think DK Metcalf is going to miss this game as well. And I just think that JSN is not going to match up super great against a really good Browns secondary, and they can't really rely on Kenneth Walker as much here. Nuoso, I believe, is their edge rusher who just went on IR. He's season-ending injured with a torn pec. So you've got some defaulting at the defensive line. So give me like a good Jerome Ford game, and hopefully Amari Cooper actually sees some daylight here as PJ Walker leads the Browns to another win. 3 in a row.
Deshaun Watson's out, though.
I think they're talking about placing him on IR.
Yeah.
Not confirmed yet,
really?
but he said that he had significant pain throwing in his shoulder before the hit on Sunday.
So, I mean, honestly, I don't think we've seen so far a defensive player impact football games as much as Myles Garrett's been impacting these games. I mean,
double.
He jumped over the nose tackle to block that field goal. Didn't make any contact on him. Then he also had
behavior.
Yeah, it's a defensive end, and like he's a problem. Yeah, give me the Browns here, and another Myles Garrett, like 3 sack, forced fumble type of game. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Bahookie?
The Browns are a good pick here, and I'm gonna pick the Seahawks. The Seahawks and the Bills are both like in desperate. Those are the two teams I was just saying have the hardest strength of schedule remaining, and I feel like they're kind of in desperation mode right. And I think they're going to do enough to get the win in a really, really close game. The Browns are definitely a team that's good enough to beat them. And the Seahawks are at home in this game, I believe.
At Seahawks.
I think that the 12th man is going to show up and is going to be the difference. Significant paying for the money bag over his shoulder. Putting the money bag over his shoulder. That's funny.
Too bad he can't go to a massage therapist anymore.
Only team oriented, yeah. Shane is also taking Seattle, and he says that the Browns gave up almost 40 points to Gardner Minshew in a bottom half offense. Not going to be able to overcome the 12th man versus one of the best offensive receiving trios. Seattle in a close game.
Okay.
Yeah,
So another split here.
Right.
Bengals Niners. I also don't want to pick this one.
Yeah, this is a tough one, bro.
Because the Bengals look hot and the Niners don't. But also, I think I would rather eat glass than bet against Kyle Shanahan trying to avoid a 3-loss series. So give me the Niners in a absolute, anger-driven game. So
JC's on my ass.
Connections. Oh, geez. Yeah. West Palm. That's what I've heard. Jupiter, Florida.
So yeah, I'm gonna take. I get your Shanahan avoiding a 3-game skirt here, but give me Joe Burrow off the bye, possibly the healthiest he's been all season. So yeah, and T. Higgins is probably going to be fully healthy and ready to go for this game. They got both the receivers. As we just saw, Jordan Addison absolutely cook that secondary. Jamar Chase is a way better receiver than Jordan Addison, and they have an actual number 2 on this team. So yeah, give me Joe Burrow and the guys to kind of finally right that offensive ship against a good team and beat the 49ers here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals here as well. And this was one that I didn't really like picking because I think it's crazy to pick the Niners to lose 3 games in a row at home. Like that is absolutely bonkers picking that, but I am doing it. I think Lamb highlighted one of the most important points. First thing he said, Burrow is coming off a bye week. This Bengals team is healthier. They're actually in a pretty good moment right now. And in spite of that, they still have to be in desperation mode because of the hole that they've dug themselves in. Both of these teams are going to be desperate. This is going to be I'm going to say Bengals 28-27.
Yeah,
I like that.
Shane's also taking the Bengals. He's going Bengals over Niners because it's possible San Fran peaked early, something we've seen many times from great teams. They catch a red-hot Cincy team, especially if San Francisco offense looks as abysmal as the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm with Chris on this. I just think this is a CMC hat trick kind of game. Put it in your best players' hands and just get another win. We got to stop right now because being 6-2 is way different than being 5-3 in the NFC at this point in the season.
Talk about a certified sicko. Jesus Christ, Christian McCaffrey's really
longest touchdown streak in modern NFL era. 16 straight games with a tutty. Unbelievable. Yeah, Chiefs Broncos. I'm taking Chiefs. Yep. Shane is also taking Chiefs, and all he said is next.
Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, round table.
Okay,
Chiefs
next one's just as bad. Ravens Cardinals. He says the same thing. Ravens. Yep. I'm going Ravens. Next.
Ravens.
In all seriousness, fans of these teams, I'll take one quick moment. Broncos have been looking better. I just don't think they're going to be able to stop a good Chiefs offense. They own this series ever since Mahomes came in. So Broncos fans, I would find a different afternoon game to watch. And then Ravens Cardinals, Gannon's back. I think what Cardinal fans Gannon's getting the most out of these guys. Murray's almost back. Look forward to that, but Josh Dobbs is not going to win you this game. I'm taking the Ravens, especially after they beat down the Lions.
Yeah, Broncos aren't winning this game. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, that offense looked like it was supposed to look. It hadn't really looked like that, and it came alive against the Chargers team.
Yeah, someone tell me if Taylor Swift's going to be at this game or not, and that will affect my my outlook on Kelce's performance.
And then the second, I agree on that one. It's kind of ridiculous what he does with her there, with not having her there. But the second thing on the Ravens Cardinals, I think the Cardinals were like really that rah-rah type of team in the beginning of the season, but it's kind of fallen off. Now we're kind of seeing who the Cardinals are and who we thought they were going to be. Somebody play the "they are who they thought we were going to be" kind of clip. Yeah, Ravens and Chiefs there for me. Blake, did you want to say anything real quick about that?
Not really.
All right, save it for the next.
All right.
We gotta wrap up here. So Bears Chargers. I am taking Chargers here. I don't have a ton to say. I think I think Brandon Staley's going to be desperately trying to save his job. Both of these teams are 2 wins, but the Chargers had a little more rest, so I'm going to take the Chargers here. They took the Cowboys down to the final minute here in last Monday, and then they had this last week off, I believe. No, they lost to the Chiefs this last week. But, they can consistently score 17 points, which might be more than you can say about the Bears. So,
dude, I want to take the Chargers here really bad, but I'm not going to because guess what? Brandon Staley is a freaking idiot. Give me the Bears. Give me the Bears here.
What's the Bears quarterback's name? Tanner Bagnett?
Tyler Bagent.
Literally doesn't matter.
He has an honorary certified sicko after a 1-week performance. It's not a permanent moniker yet, but with a nickname, as JC just pointed out here, with a nickname like Teabag, you gotta have some certified sicko to your name. So
yeah, that's a gamer nickname if I ever heard it,
bro. He's him.
I'm going with the Chargers here. They have to win this game. This is kind of we're getting to that like desperation point of the season where like these next couple of weeks, like before we hit like mid-season, like you need to pick these wins up if you want to try and put your season in a different direction. I don't feel like the Bears feel that way at all. I feel like Staley's trying to save his job right now, and I feel like they're the more desperate, hungry team. That's why I'm going to take the Chargers.
Shane's taking the Bears here.
Job.
He says LA has a bottom 10 defense, including third worst against the pass, allowing almost 12 yards per completion. The Bears are on a hot streak, playing solid defense and finding ways to score regardless of QB. So maybe Teabag drops another sack on the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you come up with that off the top, or were you?
I did, yeah. I just rattled that off right now. I didn't see the Teabag moniker until JC said it here, so hopefully this isn't bad for radio. We're moving on. Monday night, we end with Raiders-Lions. I'm taking Lions here. They're going to come back. They're going to be upset about how they were treated by the Ravens, and the Raiders should just be scared to be on the opposite end of a Jared Goff masterclass on Monday night. So give me JG 3 touchdowns and a Jahmyr Gibbs sustained breakout. Light my candle now. Give me the Lions by a good margin here.
Yeah, Jared Goff's going off. He's playing in the Dome. Detroit's home. They're licking their wounds, and I think Dan Campbell is the type of guy after a loss like that to kind of really bounce back. I don't know why. Maybe it's the kneecap biting thing. Maybe it's just because I really like Dan Campbell. Give me the Lions here and like if Brian Hoyer might start this game. So that's all you need to know about that.
I would not want to be at Lions practice this week after that game, how that went down with a coach like Campbell. Those boys going to be through it, and they are going to not want to go through it again.
He's probably breaking helmets with his own head.
Yeah.
So, Blake, finish us off here.
Yeah, this is a sweep. I got the Lions. This is my hot take. Devontae Adams' last game as a Raider. Um, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, the Lions are at home here, following a really bad loss. And I just don't see how you pick the Raiders to take it here.
Yeah,
What Shane got?
Tim takes the Lions over the Raiders. When good teams get embarrassed, they know how to respond. Plus, playing the Raiders at home in prime time with no Jimmy G, Detroit should win by multiple scores. So there you have it, guys. That's our picks of the week. Feel free to fade us, like our name is Trent on TikTok, and you guys go chase that bag, and then you come back here when we're all sitting on a perfect record. Not all of us. Tyler's going to be at the bottom by a good margin, but the rest of us. Going to be a good week.
38.
So as always, protect the territory. And you guys have a great week.